Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another power-packed episode of the ET Edge Insights. In an era where over 70% of organizations worldwide endure major disruptions annually, resilience has become the true currency of long-term leadership. In this episode, we will have a conversation where we sit down with Deepak Singh, President and CEO of Gorisco Group. And what we'll do is decode what it really takes to build organizations that don't just survive uncertainty, but stay agile, aligned, and future ready. From strengthening governance foundations to elevating crisis readiness in a world of rising cyber and geopolitical risks, the discussion opens up as a deeper lens on how modern enterprises can stay unshakable in a perpetually shifting landscape. Thank you very much, Deepak, for joining us on this episode of the ET Edge Insights.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Let's dive right into the conversation. Does your philosophy integrate with governance, risk, and compliance as a foundation to resilience?
Okay. If you see our name Gorisco as a company, right? Governance is GO, RIS is risk, and CO is compliance, right? So essentially, that's what we do. Now, when we talk about this, the issue is if you do not have integrated GRC, right? The challenge is, we have heard many times that, there are different departments in the organization and each of them work in silos, right? Very often it happens. They do not talk to each other. They do not understand each other. They do not talk the same language. That becomes a challenge, right? And when we at Gorisco, we look at GRC, we sort of ensure that when we implement that for the client, we implement based on the understanding that this should become the central nervous system of the organization, right? Now, if you talk about central nervous system, governance, it talks about the direction and the leadership tone from the top. When you talk about the risk, we try to understand how proactively can we anticipate risk, the threats, how do we prepare ourselves to respond to that? Can we mitigate that, or should we be prepared to handle the impacts of that, right? That is from the risk management. And third is compliance. If you have built any controls, if you have built any processes, procedures and guidelines and all, it has to be followed, right? How do we follow that? Someone has to be keeping that monitoring thing happening so that, whenever there is a process, policy, procedure defined, people have to adhere to that, right? It should be adhered without any exception or failure, right? So that is what we do from the integrated management. Now, what happens with this integrated GRC is that you look everything from a holistic approach, and then you try to see that if there is a blind spot that is there, you try to get that addressed, right? So you avoid not avoid, I would say, you address any of the blind spot that you might see in the organization, right? So that is the benefit of integrated GRC. Now, from the GRC perspective, there are a lot of things that we do, right? We have anything that could help build the resilience of the organization, be it business continuity, risk management, cyber security, information security. We are into all of these things, right? So we help the organization in ensuring that, if something has to be done to address their current challenges and, whatever is the opportunity for them to improve upon, we handle that, right? So that is why it is very important. Integration is, of course, we are talking about all the management systems also being integrated as integrated management systems, right? So there are different aspects that you think about when you talk about resilience, and each of these need to be integrated, right? So it's a very important aspect that I would propagate and sort of, tell all our clients and leaders that you have to focus on that. Okay, so that is what it is.